If you are looking for the science of how to end procrastination, you are in the right place, my friend. Today, I'm going to go over the dual forces in our brains that cause us to procrastinate and proactivate or bust through procrastination. You are not going to want to miss this. That is today on Stretch Productivity. Stay tuned.
By discovering deeper purpose
and mastering higher productivity.
That's how you win out.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Stretch Game. This is Stretch Productivity, making more time to do what matters most. And today, I'm going to show you how to bust through procrastination. And it makes me think of a time that a buddy of mine and I, actually my best friend growing up, we had snuck out of the house. This is something that we did regularly. We lived in a small town. There wasn't a lot to do. And before you could drive, the best thing we could think of to do is after, midnight or 1 a.m. when parents were asleep, would be to sneak out and run all over town, getting ourselves into trouble. Well, it was one of these nights that we had done this and we were coming back home when my buddy just took off running. We're in the middle of a field, and the only thing I can hear him distinguishably say is big dogs coming at you. Okay, and he just runs by me and just takes off. Now, what's really interesting about this is I had not seen the dogs, but just hearing him say that and seeing the fear in him and him running by me, and I have this distinct memory, this visual of him running by me through this field, and I started chasing after him, my heart racing just out of total fear. I remember very little from that time. I remember us getting to a creek and him running through it almost as if he was walking on water. Like I just see his foot hit, splashes, and he's on the other side without even breaking stride. Meanwhile, I'm soaked up to my waist by the time I get to the other side. I remember us getting back to the house. Those are really the only two things that I remember, and this would have taken a good 15-20 minutes running at like full speed. See, what had happened then, which by the way, we never saw the dogs until later, like days later when we went by that house, and they were huge, monstrous, demon-possessed dogs. But that night, I hadn't seen that. What happened is my amygdala had been activated. Now, the amygdala is the portion of the brain, it's in the back of the brain. It's the portion of your brain that is unconscious. It triggers from fear response. It takes you into fight or flight, and you don't think, you just act. If you felt like your life was in danger, it's the part that just takes over, and it's good because it gets you out of trouble. That's the amygdala. Now, the problem that the amygdala has is it's not very developed. And so when there are things that we want to do in life that have some risk involved, it keeps us sometimes from being able to move forward. On the other hand, we have another portion of the brain. Another thing my best friend and I did when we were in junior high, we were both pretty small guys. In fact, I was one of the smallest guys in my class. And one of the coaches got this idea that he was going to come over, he was going to present to the entire junior high and open up the high school weight room to junior high guys that wanted to work out. So he does this, and me and my buddy and about 3 other guys decide that we're going to start working out at the high school gym. And so for the first time as I began to work out, I began to see growth in my muscles. And as that happened, I really began to like what I saw. And I saw the more pressure I put my muscles under, the bigger they got. The more muscular, the more developed, the more growth that I had. The other part of our brain is called the prefrontal cortex. Now, this is a part of the brain that is not developed from birth. This is a part of the brain that grows over time. And this is the part of the brain that asserts willpower, that asserts higher cognition. It asserts the ability to do things we don't want to do. It grows with discipline. So you have these dual forces. You have the amygdala, which is just trying to help you to survive, that immediately kicks in, that's there from birth. And we have the prefrontal cortex that tries to get you to push forward, to grow, to do more, and to evolve. Here you have the duality of the two forces: procrastination, the amygdala, and proactivation, which is really just the antithesis of procrastination, proactivation, the amygdala. So how do you procrastinate less? Just like you're in the gym developing a muscle, you start to grow the prefrontal cortex. Now, how do you do that? Knowing the science and understanding this is how our brains work, I'm really going to give you a 4-step process that if you do this daily, and it's a simple process, just like working out every day, that muscle will continue to grow. And the things that cause you to procrastinate will be larger and larger. You'll bust through the smaller challenges and obstacles like you never have before when you do daily what's called a proactivation workout. I call it a proactivation workout. It's being proactive every single day and developing the prefrontal cortex. So let's take a look at how to do that. Number one, you do want to do it daily, as I mentioned. You want to do something where you're proactive. Now, I can tell you just to be proactive and do the thing that you don't want to do, and you're going to think, well, that sounds nice, but there's a reason why I'm not doing the thing that I need to do, right? For whatever reason, it just seems too difficult. I don't want to do it. You don't try to metaphorically lift a 100-pound dumbbell when you've never lifted a dumbbell before. You want to take something that you're confident that you have the ability to lift. So that's really what a proactivation workout is. You're working out. You're not going straight to max out and lift the heaviest possible thing you can. So every day at the beginning of the day or the night before, you want to write down, this is going to be my proactivation workout. This to-do, this task, this action, whatever it is, it's something that I metaphorically know that I can lift, even though it will cause a little bit of strain, right? Even though it'll cause a little bit of challenge, it'll cause a little bit of evolution. And you want to write down what that proactivation workout is going to be. Number one. Number two, and this is illustrated very well by the book Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. You want to do that proactivation workout as soon as humanly possible. So whatever the action or task is that you've written down that you want to be your proactivation workout, you want to do it first thing. And the book illustrates it as, you don't want to have a big slimy frog that you are going to have to eat. You don't want to look at that big slimy frog all day. You want to get rid of it as quickly as possible, right? You want to scarf that puppy down in one gulp as quick as you can if you know you're going to have to do it. Another reason you want to do that comes from the book The Science of Willpower, written by Kelly McGonigal. And in that book, through very scientific research, very scientifically backed data, she says that we only have so much willpower, that willpower is finite. And one of those soul suckers, one of those drainers of willpower, is not deciding you're going to do something. So you can take a task that you need to do, and over here you do it first thing and immediately, and it's going to drain some willpower to do that task, right? Or on the other side, you can have that task to do and you can think about it all day long, and then you can finally complete that task at the end of the day. And it's going to take the willpower to complete the task, but thinking about it all day long is going to drain your willpower, according to this book. And I think intuitively we know that's true if we look at the willpower drains in our own life when we can't decide if we're going to do something or not. So number 2, you want to eat that frog first thing. Do it as early as humanly possible. Number 3, whenever you complete the task, you want to plan a celebration.
Celebrate good times, come on. Let's celebrate.
And you need to plan the size of the celebration in accordance with the weight, the heaviness of the weight that you're lifting metaphorically, right? So let the celebration match the action that you've taken. Let it match your pro-activation workout. And you do this for a few reasons. Number 1, because it's so easy to look out the front windshield of what we need to do in life and not look at the rearview mirror of the things we've already accomplished. And success without happiness equals failure. I think we all know that. So we need to, number 1, do that just to recognize that we've done something well. And then number 2, to give us the encouragement, the edification, the inspiration, and the motivation to do the next pro-activation workout the next day, right? There's a reason why you haven't been completing tasks. There's a reason why you've been procrastinating. So we want to give ourselves all the reasons humanly possible to get things done. So number 3, you want to plan a celebration. You want to do that if you're planning the night before. When you plan the pro-activation workout, you want to plan your celebration there along with it and do that as soon as the task is done as you can. And then finally, number 4, and I bring this up as a step because it's the number 1 objection, and I have found over the years it's the number 1 thing that makes people fail. Allow the action that you're completing not to be perfect. You see, with many overachievers, with many high achievers, when they look at completing this task, they get stuck on number 1 because they make their pro-activation workout something either huge that is very difficult to lift, or if they get beyond that, they think that it has to be perfect in order to have their celebration. It's a real problem with perfectionism, and we all know that perfectionism is the arch rival of productivity. So make sure that it doesn't have to be perfect. Now, if you're somebody that wants to procrastinate less, I can guarantee you through my own life, this is time tested. This same tutorial was featured on Entrepreneur and absolutely exploded because it works. And it's something I've used in my own life for years. It works. You just have to work it. That's it. So number 1, list your pro-activation workout. Number 2, do it as early as humanly possible. Number 3, schedule your celebration at the time that you list what the workout's going to be and complete that as soon as the task is done, if humanly possible. And number 4, allow it not to be perfect. Do this every single day. That muscle is going to grow. That muscle is going to evolve. You're going to become more. The things that cause you to procrastinate will have to be larger and larger. The things that you didn't think you could accomplish before will get done. And you'll be evolving and growing as a person. I hope you guys have a great day today. Stay tuned for next week. Talk to you later.
Coming up next week, if you have ever wanted to speak like a master, to be incredibly dynamic, to be incredibly powerful and persuasive and get your message across, then you're going to want to stay tuned. I'm going to be reviewing the book, Talk Like TED. It's an examination and analysis of all TED Talks so that you can become a speaker like TED speakers. That's next week on Stretch Books.